Line experimentation, what is that and why is that important? Well, in observational drawing, it's really good to have an idea of all the different variety of lines out there and be able to recognize those in whatever object we're kind of looking at in order to recreate them in our artwork. So, looking at my hands here, just the wrinkles and the folds and the details of my nails and the hairs, my knuckles, all of these in an image are composed of lines. We have short lines and longer lines. We have curved lines. We have straight lines making the edges of my fingers. We have wavy lines that are making the hairs. We have bold lines that show the shadow of where my tendons are in my hand. We have thinner lines, these faint lines that are the wrinkles of my skin here. Very faint and broken lines that kind of show and then they disappear around the nails. And the more we can make those kind of observations and the more we can experiment recreating those lines, those marks in our drawings, then the more prepared we are to make some amazing artwork. So what you're going to be doing is a page of line experimentation. And it's always good to begin by labeling our art, what we're doing, especially when we're just kind of exploring. So you can see already I've labeled it line experimentation, and I began with just using a 2B pencil. You can usually see that in the back of your pencil. So I labeled that as well, and then working with straight lines to begin. And you can see I have vertical lines, horizontal lines, some variety of angled lines over here, curved lines, wavy, rippled lines. And then we're going to continue. Maybe we'll do some, after ripple, maybe we have some spiral lines, right? Lines that are starting from the center and spiraling outwards. Do a couple of those, why not? It's really important as we're doing this to be thinking about how much pressure we're applying, right? The amount of pressure that we apply in our drawing is going to change the weight of our line. And depending on if we're using a 2B pencil or a 4H pencil, that will also affect the weight of the line. The harder we press, the more bold a line is going to become. The lighter we press, the more faint. And with the 2B pencil, that's even more important because it's a soft lead, and the harder we press, the bolder the line, and the more worn down the tip becomes. So we might want to have to keep a pencil sharpener handy to kind of keep that point sharp depending on what we want to do. So be aware of the pressure. Also, our grip is important. How we're holding that pencil. Are you holding it like you're doing your math homework, or are you holding it kind of more of a creative way? I tend to like to hold my pencil like this when I'm drawing, but sometimes I might hold it like this, or I might hold it way back here, very loose, very light on the pressure. But depending on how you're holding it, you can also change the type of line you get. If I'm holding it this way, it's just that tip that's pressing against the paper, right? But if I'm holding it this way, I get more of that side, and a much thicker line, has a lot more character to it. So be aware of your pencil grip and how that's making contact with the paper. In addition to pressure and weight, we also want to be thinking about speed, right? How fast we're moving the pencil. Going slow and controlled versus very quick. And sometimes when we're moving the pencil very quick, we're losing control, but it's different kind of character to that line. You can see that. Slow. And then fast, right? So depending on what we're trying to create, we have to be aware of what kind of speed we're using. When I'm doing these ripples over here or these spirals, I don't want to go too fast because I'm trying to keep control and make it nice and concentric. So I have to go a little bit slower, all right? And this is good practice, you know? I've been drawing for a couple years and I could always go back and do this over and over again. I could always use the brush up, the additional attention to the skill of just maintaining control. It's not easy, you know? It's just like riding a bike. The first time you got on a bike, was it easy to do it? No, I fell many times when I first tried to ride a bike. But the more you put effort into it, the more practice, and the more you repeat the skill, repeat your practice training over and over again, the better you get, the more you can develop that skill. So it takes time. It takes time and patience. So just give it a go, take your time with it, and have some fun. All right? What other lines might we want to explore? What other lines can we think of? Maybe we have some jagged lines, right? Shark teeth or something. And I can tell already, I've been doing this for a little bit this morning, that my pencil is getting a little bit dull. In fact, I should stop right now and sharpen it. So, a sharp pencil, bang, look at that difference. Nice, clean. Look how much different that is versus some of these lines over here where it's getting pretty thick. You gotta watch out for that B lead. So we have, what do we call these, zigzag? Yeah, zigzag. Maybe we have thin lines over here, and these are thick. What I'm doing right now, this is called annotating, and I want you to be annotating your work. It's always good to kind of reflect and write down what it was we were doing, maybe how it feels or what kind of tool we're using. The 2B over here, or maybe we're working with, what is this? This is a 4H pencil. So we'll write 4H over here. Look at that, so much lighter. What does that feel like? It's a much harder lead. It really digs into the paper. And if you're applying too much pressure with these pencils, when you get into the H pencils, you have to be careful because you can damage your paper, and you don't want to do that. You never want to press so hard in the paper that it starts to dent the paper or rip the paper. That's not good. I'm gonna do some crisscross. When we make these parallel lines, this is called hatching. When we make a series of parallel lines that cross over one another, maybe we do it multiple times, as many as you want, that's called cross hatching. All right? So it's a good thing to practice that as well. It helps you develop control, but also it's a way of creating shadows with just lines. The more lines you make, the closer or further away they are. The closer they are, the darker it appears. But as it extends and starts to get further away, that value changes. Value or tone changes. Yeah? Okay. So what I want you guys to be doing now is just kind of experimenting, exploring different ways of holding the pencil, different types of lines you can make. Maybe you're holding it back here and just doing something a little bit loosey-goosey, just having some fun with it. Imagine kind of like the lines going for a walk. What does that look like? Actually, I guess the quote is, a line is a dot that's gone for a walk. Looks like some mountains or something to me. But if you hold the pencil this way and try to do the same thing, it's very different. So again, that grip can change everything. Maybe you're just doing some small little controlled scribbles. What happens if we start off really tight with that? Thinking about up here, that value change, how close it is. Right now it's really tight scribbles, but as it starts to open up, you can see it's going from darker to lighter, changing that value, all right? So, we'll call this scribbling. Why not? There you go. It's all about exploring though. It's all about experimenting. So be thinking about different line types, thinking about pressure and weight, thinking about the speed and the position of your pencil, all right? And each pencil you use, be sure you mark down 2B, 4H, whatever it might be that you're working with, all right? So enjoy, you guys. I hope this helps a little bit, and get to it.